The Vajrachedika Prajnaparamita Sutra from Sanskrit, also known as the Diamond Sutra or the Insurpassable Sutra. This is what I heard one time when the Buddha was staying in the monastery near Anathapindika's park in the Jeta Grove near Shravasti, with a community of 1,250 fully ordained monks. That day, when it was time to make the alms round, the Buddha put on his robe and, holding his bowl, went into the town of Shravasti to beg for alms, going from house to house. When the alms round was completed, he returned to the monastery to eat the midday meal. Then, he put away his robe and bowl, washed his feet, and arranged his cushions, and began to sit. At that time, the venerable Subhuti stood up, bared his right shoulder, put his knee to the ground, and joining his palms respectfully, said to the Buddha, "World-honored one, it is rare to find someone like you. You always support and place confidence in the Bodhisattvas. World-honored one, if sons and daughters of good families want to give rise to the highest, most fulfilled awakened mind, what is it that they should rely on, and what should they consider their master?" The Buddha said to Subhuti, "The Bodhisattva Mahasattvas master their mind by meditating as follows. However many species of living beings there are, whether born of eggs, from the womb, from moisture, or spontaneously, whether they have form or do not have form, whether they have perceptions or do not have perceptions, or whether it cannot be said of them that they have perceptions, or that they do not have perceptions, we must lead all these things to nirvana, so they may be liberated. When in this innumerable, immeasurable, infinite number of beings has been liberated, we do not, in truth, think that a single thing has been liberated. Why is this so? If Subhuti, a bodhisattva, still has an ocean of self, a person, a living being, or a lifespan exists, that person is not a true bodhisattva. Moreover, Subhuti, when bodhisattvas practice generosity, they do not rely on any object, any form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or object of mind to practice generosity. That, Subhuti, is the spirit which bodhisattvas practice generosity, not relying on the skandhas. Why? If bodhisattvas practice generosity without relying on the skandhas, the happiness that results cannot be conceived of. Subhuti, do you think that the space in the eastern quarter can be conceived of or measured? No, world-honored one. Subhuti, can the space in the western, southern, or northern quarters, above or below, be conceived or measured? No, world-honored one. Subhuti, if bodhisattvas do not rely on any concept when practicing generosity, the happiness that results from that virtuous act is like space. It cannot be conceived of or measured. Subhuti, the bodhisattvas let their minds dwell in teachings as I have just given you. What do you think, Subhuti? Is it possible that they recognize the Tathagata by the means of bodily signs? No, world-honored one. When the Tathagata speaks of bodily signs, there are no signs being talked about. The Buddha said to Subhuti, in the place where there are signs, in that place where there is deception, if you see the signless nature of signs, you can see the Tathagata. The Venerable Subhuti said to Buddha, in times to come, will there be people who, when they hear these teachings, have real faith in them? The Buddha replied, do not speak that way, Subhuti. 500 years after the Tathagata has passed away, there will be people who appreciate the joy and happiness that came from observing the precepts. When such people hear these words, they will have faith that it is truth. Know that such people have sown wholesome seeds not only during the lifetime of the Buddha, even 2, 3, or 4, or 5 Buddhas, but in fact have planted wholesome seeds during the lifetime of tens of thousands of Buddhas. Anyone who, for even a moment, gives rise to pure and clear confidence upon hearing these words of the Tathagata sees and knows that person, and they will attain immeasurable merit because of this understanding. Why? Thus replied Subhuti, because the person is not caught in the idea of a self, a person, a living being, or a span of life. They are not caught in the idea of dharma or non-dharma, a sign or no sign. Why? If you are caught in the idea of dharma, you are also caught in ideas of the self, a person, a living being, and a lifespan. If you are caught in the idea that there is no dharma, you will still be caught in the ideas of the self, a person, a living being, and a lifespan. That is why you should not get caught in the ideas that this is dharma or that this is not dharma. This is the hidden meaning when the Tathagata says, brothers, you should know that the dharma that I teach you is like a raft. You should let go of the dharma, let alone what is not the dharma. The Buddha asks Subhuti, in ancient times when the Tathagata practiced under the guidance of the Buddha Dipankara, did the Tathagata attain anything? Subhuti answered, no, world-honored one. In ancient times when the Tathagata practiced under the guidance of Buddha Dipankara, he did not attain anything. What do you think, Subhuti? Does a bodhisattva adorn a Buddha field? No, world-honored one. To adorn a Buddha field is in fact not to adorn a Buddha field. This is why it is called adorning a Buddha field. The Buddha said, so Subhuti, all the bodhisattva mahasattvas should give rise to pure and clear mind in this spirit. When they give rise to this mind, they should not rely on form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or object of mind. They should give rise to the intention with their minds not dwelling anywhere. So Shibuti, when bodhisattvas give rise to the unequaled mind of awakening, they should let go of all ideas. They should not rely on form when they give rise to that mind, nor on sound, smell, taste, touch, or object of mind. They should only give rise to the mind that is not dwelling anywhere. The Tathagata has said that all the notions are non-notions, and that all living beings are not living beings. Subhuti, the Tathagata is one who speaks of things as they are, speaks what is truth, and speaks according to reality. He does not speak falsely. He speaks in this way. Shibuti, if we say that the Tathagata has realized a teaching, the teaching is neither true nor false. Shibuti, bodhisattvas who still depend on notions to practice generosity are like someone walking in the dark. They do not see anything. But when bodhisattvas do not depend on any object of mind to practice generosity, they are like someone with good eyesight walking under the light of the sun. They can see all shapes and colors. Shibuti, do not say that the Tathagata has the idea, I will bring living beings to the shores of liberation. Do not say that way. In truth, there is no living being for the Tathagata to bring to the other shore. If the Tathagata were to think that there was, he would be caught in the idea of a self, a person, a living being, or a lifespan. Shibuti, what the Tathagata calls a self essentially is not a self, in the way that the ordinary people would describe a self. Shibuti, the Tathagata does not consider these ordinary people as ordinary people. That is why he can call them ordinary people. What do you think, Shibuti? Can somebody visualize the Tathagata by means of the 32 marks? Shibuti said, yes, World-Honored One. We should use the 32 marks to visualize the Tathagata. The Buddha said, if you say that you can use 32 marks to visualize the Tathagata, then is the Chakravartin also a Tathagata? Shibuti said, World-Honored One, I understand your teaching. One should not use 32 marks to visualize the Tathagata. When the World-Honored One spoke this verse, someone who looks like me in form, or sees me in sound, is on a mistaken path, and cannot see the Tathagata. Shibuti, if you think that the Tathagata realizes the highest, most fulfilled awakened mind, and does not need the use of signs, you are wrong, Shibuti. Do not think in that way. Do not think that when one gives rise to the highest, most fulfilled awakened mind, one needs to see the objects of mind as non-existent, cut off from life. Do not think in that way. One who gives rise to the highest, most fulfilled awakened mind does not say that all objects of mind are non-existent and cut off from life. After the congregation heard the Lord Buddha deliver this discourse, the Venerable Shibuti, the brothers and sisters, laymen and laywomen, and gods and asuras, filled with joy and confidence, began to put these teachings into practice. Such is why this discourse is called the Diamond Sutra, as it is insurpassable in its ability to give wisdom to the Sangha.